Welcome to the University of Arizona's Controlled Environment Agriculture Center, UACAC. The UACAC, with its faculty, staff, and students, volunteers, and industry collaborators, focus on innovating technologies for generation of food, bioenergy, and bioproducts. Our facilities here at the University of Arizona Controlled Environment Agriculture Center consists of greenhouses, vertical farm, lab spaces, grow chambers, and a state-of-the-art classroom to teach our courses for our students. Students learn the theory of the controlled environment agriculture in classroom settings, but they also have the opportunity with an applied learning in greenhouses and other controlled environment agriculture facilities we have here at the center's campus. So please join me for a virtual tour of our facilities, and we will have the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about our research and educational programs.
Hello, welcome to the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center Greenhouse. I'm Dr. Gene Giacomelli. I want to talk a little bit about ventilation and cooling. We're standing in this beautiful greenhouse with tomatoes around us, covered with glass. As soon as we enclose the structure, the sun shining in, yes, makes the plants grow, but also raises the air temperature. As the plants grow, they also put out a lot of water, so the humidity rises. Therefore, we have exhaust fans on one end of the greenhouse, which are controlled based on the air temperature from a sensor located in the middle of the greenhouse. They exhaust the moist, warm air outside and simultaneously bring in cool, dry air at the opposite end of the greenhouse and brings it through a wet pad for evaporative cooling. That process lowers the air temperature below what it is outside, but it also raises the moisture, which is good for us here in the desert. That air then is sucked through the greenhouse, cooling all the plants, reducing the relative humidity, and exhausting out of the greenhouse. For control, we have a Wadsworth Controller, which constantly monitors the temperature and the relative humidity at the center of this greenhouse and makes decisions about turning on the ventilation fan number 1, and if the air temperature continues to rise, then exhaust fan number 2 will come on and remain on, evaporatively cooling with that wet pad throughout the day. The sensor also could turn on the heater, and by having the same controller control the ventilation for cooling as well as heating, we can never have the situation where we're heating at the same time as we're cooling. This is the first important step to get into a greenhouse for cooling, for evaporation, for maintaining humidity to get good plant productivity.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stacy Tollefson, and this is the teaching greenhouse. I teach 3 different courses in here, with the full courses being in this classroom. There's the Introduction to Hydroponics, Advanced Hydroponic Crop Production, and a integrated pest management class for greenhouse environments. So this is a 5,000 square foot greenhouse, and we have tomatoes primarily, but we also have mini cucumbers and colored bell peppers on the other end of the greenhouse. All of these are grown hydroponically with a basic fruiting crop recipe, particularly for tomatoes, but we are able to grow the cucumbers and the peppers on the same recipe. We use indeterminate varieties of tomatoes. So these are varieties that keep growing upward like a vine. Whereas in the field, it's something short, it ends in flowers, and you have to harvest it all at once and start over. We're able to harvest every single week on these plants once they get going. So it takes about 3 months from seed to harvest, and then we're harvesting every week for about 9 months or so. Up to 9 months, 6 to 9 months. The plant puts on 3 leaves and a flower cluster every week. So we have about 12 to 18 inches of growth every week where we have to lower these plants. They're twined up by some vine twine so that light can hit the whole plant. and we have to maintain this plant over every single week. So the students have a lot of work to do all the time. At the bottom, you can see we do take about 3 leaves off per week at the bottom since we're growing 3 new leaves, and we take about a cluster of fruit off every single week. As we take the fruit and the leaves off, the stems twist around the whole section and just stay there so that we can maintain the growth. In this greenhouse, we use bees, bumblebees, to help us to pollinate. We also use organic pest management as much as possible. We use good bugs to kill the bad bugs. So we'll bring in parasitic wasps to kill the whiteflies. We'll bring in ladybugs to kill the spider mites if needed. Or use some oils or baking soda or some natural things for pest management as much as we can.
Hi, my name is Barry Pryor. I'm a professor of plant pathology and microbiology in the School of Plant Sciences. And I also direct the mushroom research program here at the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center. Now, in this program, we do research on optimizing the conditions for the production of specialty mushrooms, such as these oyster mushrooms. We also conduct research on lion's mane mushroom, shiitake, a few of these other specialty mushrooms. And we're trying to find better ways to grow these mushrooms, to optimize yield, to help the mushroom industry, to help a growing mushroom industry in Arizona and throughout the West. Now, mushroom production, or conducting research on mushrooms, requires some optimal equipment that's different than your standard greenhouse production for plant research. For example, we utilize these facilities, these contained facilities that are well insulated. This is an insulated trailer, and we've retrofitted it for mushroom production by putting in lights, putting in a humidification system, putting in some venting systems to vent out CO2, and then putting in control systems that monitor and adjust all these parameters within this growing area. Now, we have some other growing facilities here at SEAC as well. Also, many of them are converted greenhouses or hoop houses that are then optimized for mushroom production. Mushroom production is very similar to plant production in many respects, in that you have to control the environment, control temperature and humidity. But there's one big difference with mushroom production that's quite distinct from producing plants, and that is mushrooms require a laboratory that's equipped for microbiology and mycology, and equipped for sterile handling of products and equipment, because we start our mushroom production with a sterile culture. We start with a petri dish with only the fungus growing in, and from that we then subsequently build up that fungal biomass, and then finally inoculate it in a substrate for producing our mushrooms. But the beginning always starts out under sterile conditions. So we start out in a laboratory in every mushroom production cycle.
Alternative energy integrated controlled environment agriculture, such as agrivoltaics with greenhouses, can offer unique opportunities for sustainable agriculture production practices. Organic photovoltaic films, OPVs, or other wavelength selective films can bring unique opportunities to tune the light, to absorb the light that is not needed for crop production, that can be used for power generation, or to transmit the light that is needed for optimal growth of the plant.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gene Giacomelli, and I'm standing in front of the Mars Lunar Greenhouse here at the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center at the University of Arizona. This system will grow plants for astronauts to have food, to regenerate their oxygen, and to provide them with fresh water. The system is semi-closed. We recycle all the water, we recycle all the air, and we just provide electrical power to run the lights to grow the plants. This will be long-term benefit for a habitat on the moon or on Mars.
Hello, my name is Murat Kasira, and I'm a faculty member in the Biosystems Engineering Department and the director of the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center. Here we are in our vertical farm research, education, and outreach facility. In this facility, we have about 750 square feet footprint that accommodates 2 environmental controlled grow chambers. In each grow chamber, we have 2 racks, multi-tier systems integrated with recirculating floating raft based hydroponic system. We are using LED lighting system to provide the lights for plants, and we have environmental control system that monitors as well as controls the significant variables that are interest to us for the research activities. We monitor the aerial environment as well as the root zone growing environment from each growing test bed. This is our climate control station, and we have computer programs running to monitor the environment and also to control the environment. We have a data logger based custom designed controller here built and has been operated by our students in this program. We have been mostly working with leafy greens such as lettuce for our research activities, and for a given typical experiment it takes about 4 to 5 weeks for us to complete the full crop production for the experiments. Our emphasis has been more on the environmental control aspects and try to achieve resource savings. So we are able to change the light intensities in each of these grow chambers as well as in each growing shelves, and also adjusting the carbon dioxide concentrations and also other significant environmental variables with the hope that we develop an environmental control that is leading to resource savings, more on the electrical energy use as well as the CO2 use in indoor vertical farming systems and applications. The climate control system that you see here enables the operator to monitor the environment and make adjustments for precision control of the grow chamber environments, and also based on the given experiment and the project objectives.